He was just a kid, sitting quietly in the corner of the hotel lobby. She was running late. Again. Then the manager walked in and made a decision he couldn't undo, and the entire hotel learned. Never underestimate who someone might be. Atlanta. A Tuesday morning thick with humidity, despite the air conditioning blasting through the lobby like it had something to prove. Cold air, hard tiles, and that faint citrus and bleach scent that clung to every surface. The boy sat on the far end of a gray couch near the lobby windows, back straight, feet flat, backpack resting between his knees, like a question he didn't want to ask. A woman in red heels checked her phone while brushing by him, close enough that her purse strap clipped his shoulder. She didn't notice. The bellhop rolled a chrome luggage cart too close and clipped the boy's knee. The kid flinched, barely, and whispered, "Sorry." The bellhop blinked, then nodded, confused. A mother wrangling a toddler cast a glance toward him like she wasn't sure if he belonged to someone. The boy looked down, tightened the zipper of his backpack just a bit more, made himself smaller. That old instinct. Stay quiet. Stay still. Behind the front desk, the manager stood with his arms folded, Bluetooth earpiece blinking blue every few seconds like a metronome, mid-50s, pressed gray blazer, dark slacks, hair gelled to defy time. His nameplate gleamed under the fluorescence. Mr. Templeton, General Manager. He watched the boy, frowning just enough to suggest disapproval, without commitment. The boy wasn't doing anything, and that, to him, was a problem. Templeton walked around the desk with the kind of posture that announced authority before he even spoke. His shoes clicked, sharp, fast, until they stopped 2 feet from the boy. You can't. Then I'll have to ask you to wait outside, all right? Hotel policy. Guests only. The boy stood slowly, picked up his backpack and clutched his thermos a little closer. His lips parted. He wanted to say something, maybe ask how long, but instead, he nodded. Walked past the man with small, even steps. Outside, traffic rolled by with early morning impatience. The bench by the curb was dented in the middle, but he sat anyway. The thermos hissed as he unscrewed the cap. Steam again. He raised the lid to his face. Inside, written in fading black marker, "You are not small." He inhaled the tea deeply, eyes half closed, exhaled just as slow. His fingers brushed the words again, then wiped the cap clean with the inside of his sleeve. Habit. Like prayer. Behind the glass doors, Templeton had returned to the desk, murmuring something to the associate on duty. She nodded, but her gaze kept drifting to the window. The boy sat in profile, framed by sunlight and moving cars. Kids these days, Templeton muttered, adjusting his earpiece. God knows where his mom is. Probably here for some conference. He smirked a little. Or cleaning rooms. The associate's jaw tightened, but she said nothing. Just clicked through the reservation list faster. Out on the sidewalk, the boy noticed movement near the crosswalk. A plastic toy rolling toward the gutter, a small hand reaching too late. Without hesitation, the boy stepped off the curb, scooped the toy up, and handed it back to the toddler, who looked at him like he was magic. The mother gasped, then smiled. "Thanks, sweetheart," she said, brushing his shoulder. He nodded once, didn't wait, and returned to the bench. From the second-floor window, a younger staffer watched the whole thing. Her name tag was too new. She tapped her phone and looked back toward the front desk. No words. Just an instinct. She hit. A black SUV rolled to a stop at the curb. Sleek, government-tinted, clean enough to reflect the clouds. The back door opened fast. The boy stood, the thermos in one hand. "Hey, Ma." She stepped out, tall, mid-30s, tailored black suit, braid tucked over one shoulder. Her heels clicked softer than Templeton's, but the sound carried. She wore a security badge clipped to her belt and carried a leather case in one hand like it had weight. Her walk was smooth, grounded, like someone used to not being listened to, and knowing exactly what to say when it finally mattered. Her eyes swept her son. "Sorry, baby. That meeting ran over. You okay?" He nodded. Good. Templeton stood motionless, half a step behind. His mouth opened slightly. He didn't speak. The boy didn't look at him. They walked toward the lobby together, her hand on his shoulder, his feet sure, even as the automatic doors opened with a hiss that suddenly sounded too loud. The tiles inside didn't look so cold anymore, and as they passed the front desk, no one said a word, just watched. The receptionist stood a little straighter. The junior staffer upstairs sent another message. Something had shifted, and the boy's silence had been the loudest sound in the room. The elevator doors closed with a soft shudder, sealing them in with faint music and the low hum of motion. The boy stood near the buttons, backpack still slung over one shoulder. His mother didn't speak right away. She adjusted her case, glanced sideways at him. "You waited outside." He nodded barely. She inhaled through her nose, held it. "Manager said you couldn't be in the lobby." He shrugged. "Said I was loitering." Her jaw tightened just for a moment. A hallway too quiet, like it cost money to make noise. She walked ahead now, straight-backed, heels muffled, eyes sharp. The boy followed, close behind. At the end of the hall, a double door, already ajar. Inside, "We're so glad you could join us." She gave a curt nod and placed her case on the table. Didn't sit yet. Instead, she opened the binder inside and slid out a document. Her tone when it came was even and cool. Before we begin, an incident occurred this morning." The room quieted. A few brows furrowed. The man in the blazer, Templeton, had just stepped in behind her. He froze in the doorway like he'd taken a wrong turn. Nadine didn't look at him. She kept her eyes on the room. "My son was removed from your hotel lobby by your general manager while waiting for me." He was quiet, respectful, and alone. A beat of silence. She slid a tablet forward. Hit play. Security footage filled the screen. A time-stamped clip of a small boy sitting silently. Then the moment Templeton approached, the awkward exchange, the boy's slow exit. No sound. None was needed. "This is him," Nadine said. 12 years old. He's with me." And he was treated like a threat. Templeton stepped forward, voice low. "Ma'am, I didn't know he was—" "You didn't ask," she said, eyes on him now. "You saw a black boy sitting, and that was enough." He blinked. "There are protocols." "Are your protocols designed to embarrass children, or only certain ones?" Her voice didn't rise, but the room seemed to shrink around her. No one moved. Templeton opened his mouth, then shut it. Looked down. He had a notepad in his lap, doodling a curled dragon, teeth sharp and wings tucked in. He paused once, ears angled toward the door. Heard his mother's voice through the muffled walls. His hand trembled. Just a bit. He set the pen down, took a breath, picked it back up. Inside, the meeting wrapped faster than usual. Nobody brought up the compliance review. No one dared. Nadine gathered her materials calmly. As she stood, someone asked, "Will you be filing a formal complaint?" "I already have," she said, "and I expect follow-up." The regional director coughed. "We'll be reviewing Mr. Templeton's position immediately." She didn't answer, just turned to leave. Templeton followed her into the hall, adjusting his cuffs. "Dr. Ellis, if I'd known he was your son, I never—" She stopped, faced him fully. "That's the problem. He shouldn't—" The boy looked up as she appeared. She gave him a soft nod, and they walked out together, her hand on his shoulder. The glass doors opened with a hiss, sunlight warming the tile. He held the thermos tighter. The cap stayed closed. Behind them, Templeton remained near the front desk. One of the executives approached him, a small folder in hand. They spoke in low tones. No one smiled. The boy looked back once, just a glance. Not angry, not smug, just measured. And somewhere near the elevators, the staffer from the window stood a little straighter, typed another note. Something had started. Outside, the SUV waited in the shade of a sycamore. Nadine stood by the open door, one hand on the roof, watching her son climb into the passenger seat. He adjusted his backpack on his lap, but didn't close the door yet. She stayed there for a second longer, silent, focused, like she was measuring the air. A new voice broke through the stillness. "Dr. Ellis." It was the hotel CEO, an older white woman with sharp gray eyes and a voice that carried even when it didn't try to. She approached slowly, not rushing, not hesitant. Her heels were flat, practical. "I just wanted to thank your son," she said, crouching beside the SUV door until she was eye level with him, "for his patience this morning." The boy blinked, surprised. He glanced at his mom. Nadine said nothing. "You were calm," the woman added. "You didn't argue. That says something." She held his gaze a moment longer. "That doesn't mean what happened was right." The boy nodded, just once. He didn't speak, but his shoulders loosened slightly. Across the lobby windows, movement shifted. Some staff peered through without pretending not to. A few whispered. One of them, a young man from maintenance, shook his head and muttered, "Overreacting." Another by the bell stand crossed his arms. Behind them, Templeton stood outside the hotel entrance, his jacket folded over his arm. His face had lost its crispness, creased now, the tight lines softened by something he couldn't quite name. He spotted Nadine unlocking the car, walked toward her. "Dr. Ellis." She turned, quiet. "I didn't know," he said. He looked. His words caught. "I assumed." "You didn't ask," she said again. He looked down. "I'm sorry." She watched him. No anger, just a long pause. "I believe in apologies," she said, "but I believe in change more." That was all. Later that week, the CEO called, offered her a seat on the corporate board. "Name your fee," she said. Nadine looked at her son, sitting at the kitchen table, pencil in hand, drawing a map of a city that didn't exist yet. He hadn't asked about the hotel again. He didn't have to. "I have conditions," Nadine said. "Mentorship programs, youth access to hospitality careers, real bias training, not the PowerPoint kind. No bonus. No." And that was that. 7 days later, the hotel lobby looked the same, but something in the light had shifted, softer now. The air conditioning still blasted, but it didn't feel cold in the same way. A circle He held a folded napkin in one hand, shaped like a swan. "Hold it like this," he said, patient, showing a younger kid beside him. "Pinch here." The manager was gone. No one said his name. And near the side window, a bellhop stopped another boy from being escorted out by security. "He's with me," she said. "He's part of the group." The boy smiled, stepped aside, and pulled a small thermos from his coat pocket. The lid unscrewed. Inside, "You belong here." Later, near closing time, the first boy sat back on the lobby bench. The same one, now moved closer to the window. The light stretched long across the tiles. He opened his thermos again, took a breath, and smiled. "They saw me this time," he said. Pause. "I didn't even have to raise my voice.